This week on Hermitcraft is Saturday. It's just Saturday. Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writers, XP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And for those of you who are just seeing us in your recommended videos for the first time, we're the show that tells you all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Not affiliated with the server itself, we're just some fans who get to do a funny news show about our favourite Minecraft YouTubers, and nobody has stopped us yet. And today, naturally, we bring the news of a whole new season of Hermitcraft starting, meaning the map has been reset, the players have been emptied, and Corrales has forgotten how to play the game again, probably.
Don't worry about it, don't worry, I'm just trying to find my way back somewhere. I have no idea where I was.
This time, however, the Hermits are in trouble before they even start the game, as the world's spawn has been set to the Nether. So before any of them can get to their already chosen starter bases, the group will have to brave the depths of the Nether and gather enough obsidian to put together a portal home, which a couple of them do. It's a communal effort. A special shout out goes out to Gemini Tay, who gathered 2 of the 10 obsidian needed, then placed them in the wrong spot.
Yeah. It's a portal! It's gonna go right there, in our spawn room!
No, it's supposed to be
And to Zombie Cleo, who made their segment of the Nether adventure extra cinematic with flashback mod third-person flybys, meaning we get to make this part of our video extra cinematic also. As Pat Benatar once sang, hit me with your best shot. And please do, it makes for better videos. Now, we at the recap are muchly excited about them potentially forgetting to move the server spawn out of the Nether, in part because it would make the Nether hub more interesting, and in part because it would be very funny. But with the gang safely returned to the overworld, they all start making much more individual plans, even if those plans involve living together. So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server last week, which, yes, is just Saturday. Starting with Grian, who is just fishing again, never mind. Starting with Gemini Tay.
Is he fishing again?
Who, in the cluster of people that want to live on that hill surrounded by a river, decided to build a bridge. That bridge is also her starter house, so yes, you have to pay the bridge toll to get across this lake hole.
Close.
How much is the toll? I'll pay the toll.
It's okay. There's as long as you don't tell Scar, there's no toll.
Okay.
I just like that you're using the bridge.
I'm loving the bridge. I've used it a lot already.
Quite a few people seem to be basing on the perimeter of the cherry blossom trees, parenthesis boots with the fur, so Gem makes sure to make the accommodations horse accessible in case any of those people turn out to be horses. And no, we haven't seen B-Dubs' first episode yet, why do you ask? Though helpful as connecting side A of the server to side B is, we at the recap are most grateful to her and Scar for fishing Grian out of whatever funk he seemed to be stuck in down on his porch.
Go!
Hello, Grian! Oh my god!
This way he can take a break from his fishing quest to sail Gem away to a pale garden. The server actually has a really nice one, merged with a dark oak forest and a moss cave under, meaning naturally that Grian uses none of these materials in his own build, but Gem gets to add mossy stones to the bridge, and that's nice. No, Grian's main material for the episode turns out to be the humble spruce shelf, since that got added to the game between seasons. If the arch within his home cave looks familiar, that is actually intentional, as Grian realised that he feels a certain affinity with the Victorian greenhouse style of his Season 7 barge, which of course he does. The word greenhouse literally has his name in it.
Some of you might think it's a bit of a shame that I got rid of the stone, but I think you need to kind of trust the process a little bit here.
So having built the frame for his glass house, he now faces the trouble of getting the glass from the mining desert 4,000 blocks away, or from the librarian villagers, which is why he's been farming paper like it's going out of style. Between that and the books he's fishing for, it's a very bookinist playthrough he's having. Hope he's not planning to take his cave home that far downwards, however, because they found a warden-infested ancient city at the bottom of Gemini Tay's mine. Maybe they'll cross that bridge when they come to it. One of many to cross the bridge, and enough of a mad lad to actually raid the ancient city in episode 1, is Impulse SV, who has pledged, along with Skiz and Zedaf, to support Tango Tech in some incredibly ambitious plans we'll get to explain shortly. Impulse's way of doing that is to set up villager trading and iron farms, grind for a group beacon, and use it to dig an enormous circular hole in the ground, which is music to my ears, quite honestly.
In fact, let's take a look at our statistics and see. 82,000 stone mined already? Yeah, we are a machine.
For Impulse, the design of the base is inspired by the Apple TV series Silo, which asks the question, what if we did Fallout but vertical? Of course, when Etho and Jem come to visit, the question they ask is, how do we get our horses out again? The answer, of course, is Park Horse.
Oh!
Aha.
Whoa! Okay,
Uh-huh.
almost. He
Jump
made
and
it!
scoot.
He made it.
Impulse later resolves the question of how players get rapid transport to the surface by not merely installing a bubble column, but installing a bubble column which elevates a happy ghast trapped in a minecart. This not only increases the elevator's carrying capacity to 4, it also provides an incredibly novel way of injuring Skizzleman.
Yep, that's par for the course.
What's funny is that while Impulse takes time to dig out a round hole, False Symmetry has been building a cylinder, thus creating an impulse to false matter to antimatter spectrum. Putting aside the False Symmetry circle, haha nature is healing jokes, nature is actually hurting quite significantly, as False clearly has put a tree in jail for whatever crimes a tree could commit. Further establishing that she herself is a prisoner of not just her building habits.
Now, this will actually be spreading out this way a little bit. So don't be worried about the fact that I can probably pretty much just dive out of there and fall back down again.
Helpfully, Rendog shows up to complement her build and parole the woman to his own nearby build where he already has an enchanting table set up. And the lore to go with it. Having gone the sci-fi route with Gigacorp in previous seasons, Ren's whole deal this season will be grounded in magic, with the plan to build a citadel divided by the magical schools of the arcane, the wild, and the abyssal. And the Enchantarium isn't just the home of his enchanting setup, it's also delighted to meet you.
Okay, I might be one bookshelf short. Okay, hold on.
Oh, no.
False, come into the Enchantarium for enchanting. I definitely set up the enchanting station perfectly.
See.
Wow,
Woo.
that's amazing. I'm so good at Minecraft.
You're so good at Minecraft. You've definitely played for a long time.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you.
He's been focused on the wild in other ways, because both he and Pearlescent Moon decide they'd better team up and travel the world to look for all the different wood types they can get their hands on. Along the way, they gather firefly bushes, sing sea shanties, and bump into Doc M.
Vegemite on toast.
Yes.
You and me a cup of tea, and later on we'll settle down beside the hitching post. A sheep or two or a kangaroo or clothesline out the back.
But once they're back to civilization, Rendog immediately tries to sell some surplus saplings to Mumbo in exchange for something magical. Because what greater magic is there than a good bargain?
You would think after all these years we would know how to record a Minecraft video, wouldn't you?
You would hope. This is the thing that we're best at.
It's actually quite shocking, Mumbo, you know? It really is.
Well, maybe Doc could have taught Ren a thing or two about the mysterious powers he possesses, because Doc's episode begins with him teleporting himself directly to an End City ship and claiming it's Elytra without so much as a dragon fight in sight.
And then I even screwed up, right, when I was recording, because I was so nervous. I could have only went this way around the corner and right there.
Through a series of flashbacks and explainers, we get to see the road he took to get there, which included discovering the identity of the Season 10 Ore Snatcher.
It was me.
This explains why, for the chunk of time they all spent together in the Nether, Doc was following Good Times with Scar around a little too closely. And why, once they've ditched the Pork and Choppin' for the foods of the overworld, Doc starts spamming Scar's starter area with creaking hearts and lurking nearby with anvils and scaffolding. But we're all familiar with Doc's technical games, so the villager trading and automation looks familiar. With a trial chamber nearby for early game slime, we're expecting him to launch all kinds of stuff Scar's way with the precision of that Ender Pearl trick shot.
So everything back to normal, of course.
You will have to bear with me here for a moment as we explain that Good Times with Scar's base this season will be a remote material mining outpost with the aesthetic and canon trappings of Star Wars, which Scar likes a lot. Which is to say that there are very few things that Doc could do to him that the Star Wars franchise hasn't already done over the past 6 to 7 movies. Still, the general vibe we're getting from Scar's first video is much more Andor than anything, which is not the worst logical gate to base your Minecraft home on. And by now you must be wondering how the dinosaur from the thumbnail fits into it. Well, it's actually a transporter animal, much like the signature aliens of the Lucasfilm Alien Worlds. Many Bothans have died to remove this build's scaffolding.
My boy has been freed from his scaffolding, and this, as I said, was the hardest build I've ever made.
Anyway, before that's even finished, someone perforates the hill it's built on with creaking hearts, so every night, Scar is invaded by attention-seeking wood monsters. Which could be nothing, or it could be the Doc M embargo running out. Who's to say? Now, Scar's builds are always a treat, and sometimes a threat, but we've really been looking forward to the next project by the award-winning Joel Smallish Beans. After all, having snatched the prize for most impressive base, according to our viewers, the man has some big boots to fill. Which he'll be filling with logs at the rate he's going. As in his first episode of the season, Joel announced that his plans involve this massive forest being completely removed. In fact, his vision of the season is so complex, Joel feels the need to write it down somewhere, creating a wall of signs simply titled Joel's Goals. Little does he know to accomplish any of these, he'll also need Beans' means.
3. Be weirder than Season 10. That one's going to be tricky. 4. Kill 200 horses, minimum.
But as Firetick is off, Joel first has to get mining with the rest of the squad and get the proper logging tools before he can really log off. Which is where we get to mention Scar calling basalt bath salt, not because he did, but because somehow Gemini Tay knew what he meant at all.
Can I have some of the roundy bath salt stuff?
Yeah. He needs smooth basalt. I understood.
There's another Hermitcraft member who comes to the season with a pre-made list of things to achieve, specifically ZF, which will surprise not anyone within his or anyone's fanbase, given that he already spent a year once hunting the so-called Z-advancements. Custom challenges dreamt up by him or his community that no other man would attempt, for money or otherwise. ZF, however, starts strong as pretty much the only Hermitcrafter to come out of the starting Nether adventure, turn right around, and go back into the Nether. His first challenge is to gather a full block of Nether gold using only Ghast fireballs as his digging tool, which you'd think would be easier if he just punched the projectiles into the ores, but as it turns out, that only angers the locals, who won't be the last to try and convince this man to maybe stop and reconsider this whole thing.
Oh! Are they mad at me because I deflected it? Oh, I think they might be. Ghast, sort them out, quick!
At least he'll have a little help. From what we've seen of his activities so far, Joe Hills has been the patron saint of the Nether spawn, setting up a community tool chest for anyone who needs it, leaving useful equipment in there even after people start dying to overworld mobs instead of just angry piglins, and setting up arrows that point in the direction of the portal back to the surface world. He admits that maybe playing a lot of Hades in the break between seasons has left him with the impression that he needs to keep returning to the underworld, and frankly we'd expect nothing else from a rogue like Joe.
Now who owns this hallway? That's right, the people.
Vintage Beef emerges from the depths of heck looking decidedly more 80s than he did before. He clearly got this season's sunglasses from wherever Rendog shops for eyewear. This trendy-looking version of Beef follows another trend this season, claiming a hilltop with a cherry grove on it and completely tearing down the cherry grove in the process.
I need to increase my items. I need to increase the things that I own and I possess. Wow.
Who can blame him wanting to take the axe to something beautiful after losing a bunch of materials to a deconstructed baby zombie? It's enough to make anyone want to write a Europop parody song about XP Crafted. Actually, on second thoughts, maybe that's just a Beef thing. At least he makes up for it by trading all the cherry logs to XP in exchange for diamonds, before explaining his plans are to make an 80s themed base, most likely using movies of the era as inspiration. But first he'll need some critters for his funny farm, otherwise he'll just be the running man.
But speaking of creative freedom, I need your ideas on what to build. Again, I have some ideas, but I feel like they're not perfect.
XP Crafted brings more hoglin herding technique than most of the others while they're in the Nether.
This guy's wearing Bean's head. Oh, that's amazing.
But once they've escaped the confines, he freely admits he has a base location in mind, but not a base theme. He's happy to just play it by ear, and in the meantime he's got a massive cavern to explore under his hilly meadow. He recruits Cubfan and Hypno to help him spelunk, and eventually they sneak their way into an ancient city, where it becomes more of a camping trip where you try not to annoy the groundskeeper too much.
Uh-oh.
Run, Cub.
Oh, okay, we're good.
We're good?
10 minutes. It was over 10 minutes. Because that was 4.
They emerge with handfuls of diamonds, a few enchanted books, and some very well developed leg muscles from all of the crouch jumping. Overall, it's been a kind of upper thigh day for Cubfan135, given he spent most of the play session seemingly non-stop clenching. There was an honest attempt on his side to contribute to the great 10 Obsidian heist back in the Nether collab, but unfortunately his piglin bartering operation got shot down from behind. On the upside, the swift sniff trip to the ancient city yielded enough diamonds that he didn't feel it necessary anymore to keep demonstrating these sequence-breaking strats. Cub settles on the side of a cherry cliff, but the episode runs out a little before he gets to explain exactly what he plans to do with all of these riches. But he'd better think quick, because all the treasure of the server is now in the spyglass of the dread pirate Jevin. Just kidding, he doesn't have a spyglass yet.
So this is everything that I have found. We've got 24 diamonds, I don't think we need a helmet.
But he does find King Sal the Salmon Head in a shipwreck somewhere, robbed of his sunglasses and fin, looking suspiciously like a red grian.
Oh my god, he's missing a fin. Dude, what happened? Pirates attacked you?
Obviously, this calls for Jev to cease lubbing the lands immediately and raise a ship on the high seas of the server, which he does once he gets a Wither Skull for the Crossbones banner. Only 2 Wither Skeletons it took him, for the record. Regardless, the boat is indeed built, and Jevin points out that the sails on it may be the most complicated thing he's ever built, which says a lot given that the competition is like a castle. Still, I would be remiss not to point out that according to his own time-lapse, the sailboat is clearly beached on the small hill he started building with, and some aerial shots reveal that the cargo hold is very much still flooded. So the harbours of Hermitcraft may rest easy for at least a little bit once built.
Going into this season, I knew that I was going to be building in a pirate theme. And it was actually kind of concerning because I've never built a Minecraft ship before.
We're more worried about the flooding that seems to be happening in Skizzleman's brain. Whatever Bioshock psychosis he seems to be living through is an unsettling framing device for the episode, and it plays out more like a horror movie, beginning in hell, with the first blood-curdling scream happening about 2 minutes and 15 seconds in. Plus, this one air quotes graphic he puts on screen is actually kinda terrifying.
Work together.
But this all makes more sense when Skiz explains his base this season aims to dive into another psychological concept, Carl Jung's concept of the shadow as a deep part of the subconscious mind. On a more material level, he plans to start by building a creepy house and letting the library guide players into a build that's more of an on-rails experience of the depth of the psyche than last season's Pyramid of Needs minigame.
I'm fully aware that I build garbage, okay? I know that. I know I build junk.
Before that, though, he's got to remove a more practical obstacle, the core of the hill that separates him from Impulse, because it's much more fun riding your horse through a tunnel than it is to skirt around the mountain, especially when it gets the approval of Gem, Scar, and Tango.
I thought this was like a stage where you do like a little theatrical production.
No. This was just me playing with I have very limited blocks.
It's a timely tunnel because a lot of the hermits seem very keen to explore by horse, as Pearlescent Moon proves when she invites Rendog on a Round the World in 80 Biomes tour to obtain all the different wood types. It's fun to live the nomadic life, camp under the stars, sleep on the ground, and it's a peaceful way to spend your time after having lost everything from your first time caving.
Yep, okay. That's fine. Oh, God. Well, hey, guys, starting fresh on a brand new world. This is my very first entry into the Hermitcraft Season 11 server. Nothing else has happened before this.
Pearl is one of the many hermits to discover copper armor ain't all it's cracked up to be, especially when they're used to full diamond and protection enchantments. But hey, considering they started in the Nether, the precedent has been set for the mobs to not pull their punches.
This wooden sword is not very effective. I killed it!
Etho is another hermit who immediately adopts a horse, but immediately gets a confession from B-dubs that the hilly terrain is causing him to crave elytra. Although that won't save him from the ninja creepers, as Keralis joins the pair of them for caving, and the game seems to continue kicking specifically B-dubs, as Etho and Keralis both score a heavy core from their first trial chamber of the season.
B-dubs, do you need any gear, by the way?
No, I will.
He's
fine.
I
will find and make.
What are you worried about this guy for?
Etho raids 2 more chambers after gearing up a little more, and soon has everything he needs to start on his base for the season, an industrial tech megastructure with a focus on automation and parkour. The facade goes up for his storage room, which will be masquerading as Part Mart, but don't mistake this for a start on the shopping district. This is just a bit of base lore to kick things off.
Like another section that size for the entrance? Yeah, it's gonna fill up quick, I think.
Whatever other lore the server has to offer, Zombie Cleo promises to dig up, because lest we forget, they are obsessed with archaeology, which we relate to given our love for digging up old beef. Aforementioned cinematic nether adventure out of the way, Cleo locates the exact corner of the server where a Mayan temple is not yet buried, and sets up a tent from which to watch themselves build it. Welcome to Minecraft YouTuber lore, where they've still got to actually build that thing they're supposedly finding in their worlds. You just wait, it's going to turn out to be Skiz's pyramid again.
Yeah. There was a part of me that computed that me hitting the creeper in that direction would kill you, and I decided to do it anyway.
Can I have my first head of the season, please?
it does say killed. Wait, killed by Ren? What?
Yeah,
Why
that was
does it say killed by Ren?
that was. Can we talk about this?
And finally, there's Mumbo, who only got to beat us to making ironic jokes because he was actually there to witness the Obsidian debacle of 2025.
All right, go on.
No, because WaveX has done the same thing.
Guys,
wait, we have to go tell them.
Gem, it was all Gem. That was Gem's fault.
Guys!
Although we'll be the first to point out that he was also trying to mine diamonds with a copper pickaxe.
I don't care. I'm going to mine them regardless. I'm doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, they're up there.
Perhaps to recover his image and remind us that these are professional Minecrafters, Mumbo gives himself 12 hours to get good, in which he sets up all the ingredients for a chicken sandwich, converts several spawners into XP farms, goes caving for a full set of diamond equipment, and, perhaps most importantly, gets to witness the beauty of Rendog, riding across a mountaintop astride his majestic steed.
But now you are in generational aura debt. Do you know why, Ren? Because I can hear myself. Again!
No!
Yes!
I can't believe it. I aura'd and then anti-aura'd in once.
Mumbo's first build is a stacked structure with a cozy cabin on top, surrounded by a wheat field. And we'd like to thank the Brainrot division of the Hermitcraft subreddit for pointing out the moment in time where it briefly looked like Grian. And that's about it for this day's recap. Welcome to Season 11, folks. We're super glad to have you with us. Our writer is SloyXP, my name is Pixel Riffs, and captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.